Hi, I'm Karen and I'm here to show you how to make the pink chateau bouquet. Basically, you will need some scissors or floral shears. If you use scissors, make sure you wash them with alcohol, and some floral tape and an elastic band or floral wire. I like elastic bands on bouquets. What you want to know is that these flowers will arrive in a box like this, and they will look a little bit parched and not quite open. So what you want to do is put them in some water. You're going to take the overwrap off and inspect them, and then you're going to take each stem, look at it, and then trim the bottom and put it in water. You will want to leave your stems in water for about 2 to 3 hours so that they will perk up. And then after that, you can start with your bouquet. You can leave them overnight as well, as long as it's in a nice, cool area that's relatively dark, such as a basement or a closet that is not too hot inside. So what you want to do is decide the shape of your bouquet first. This one is very tight but free-flowing. It's not round, it's not symmetrical. It's just sort of loosely arranged florals that are quite beautiful. And so you begin by just picking any flower you want and building up against it. I'm going to start with these pretty salmon pink colored flowers. Make sure you take all the stems off. I tend to take the stems off when I'm putting them in water after they come out of the box, because the stems drink the water. I may leave 1 or 2 in case I want to use it in the bouquet for the mechanics, but in this case, I'm not going to need any of the greens from the roses because I'm going to use the greens that were sent. I'm taking those apart, and I'm going to take my rose and look at it. On the outside, you have these little petals coming down. Those are called guard petals. Some of them are going to be folded and dented and maybe just ripped. They're guarding the actual rose. You can leave them on if you want, like more of a bohemian look, or you can simply remove them very carefully. If you remove them, save them, because you can use them for your flower girls basket. Just put them in a plastic container and spritz them with some water and put them in the refrigerator until the wedding. So what you want to do is take 3 roses together, 3 flowers together. Florists work in groups of 3 with flowers. We work in uneven numbers. That's not to say you can't put 4 together, but we do work in groups of 3. So you take 3 together. And again, I'm going to remove these leaves. I don't need them. I'm going to leave those because I like how they look though. And then I'm going to hold them together. As you can see, my stems are crisscrossing. When you put your bouquet together, make sure that you put the stems in at an angle and make sure that you're able to hold it very loosely. The place to hold it is right here, just under the buds. You don't want to get too close to the buds. You want to hold it right about where you're going to hold it as the bride. You do not want to hold them too tightly or too loose. You just want to hold them loose enough so that you're going to get some movement and sway, but they're not going to end up falling out of your hand. And then what you want to do is cut any thorn you might see off, because thorns, they're painful to say the least. If you're arranging flowers, you don't want a thorn in your thumb. So you take that and you hold it, and then you decide what you want to put together with those roses. And I'm thinking, I'm going to hold these in my hand, and I'm thinking that I would like to put one of these beautiful white roses next to it. So I'm going to take a white rose and I'm going to put it next to them. And again, I'm going to crisscross the stems like this, just like that, and hold it this way. It's a process of looking and turning, looking and turning. What do I like? What don't I like? If you're holding it loosely, because you want to hold it loosely, you'll be able to remove a flower and move it someplace else. And that's the goal here, to look, turn, evaluate, change. And and then you'll finally get to a place where you love it. So I'm gonna put one white rose in there, and I like it. Now I'm gonna build on that just with one white rose, and I'm gonna use some of my spray roses. I'm gonna try to use all of the selection of flowers, but not all of the flowers sent to me by Poppy, because they sent a lot of flowers for a medium-sized bouquet. The reason behind that is you will be able to determine the size of your bouquet. Do you want a small one, a medium one, or a large one? This amount of flowers, this $90 box of flowers, is actually enough to make 2 smaller bouquets if you want, or 1 large one. So I'm gonna make a medium one. So we put these together like this, and then I'm gonna add, like I said, my spray roses. When you look at the spray roses, you can thunk them right together just like that. Take a look and see, are there any spray roses in there that are not looking good, or that are falling below my fingers, or anything like that? I don't think so. So I can leave them all there. I'm putting it up a little higher to provide some texture and some contrast. I don't want them all to be the same height. You make them all the same height, it's more like a round bouquet. So now I'm liking it. It takes a little bit of shape and it's crisscrossing. I need some greenery. I'm going to use something called pennycress. And pennycress is a very delicate stem. And when you're working with it, it comes in these long, it actually grows wild in New England sometimes, but not all the time. But you want to notice how it comes in these big bushy stems. If I just go thunk like that, it doesn't look good. I want the pennycress to be a delicate accent in my freeform bouquet. So I'm going to take my shears and I'm going to cut off the shoots on the side. As you can see, I'm cutting some of the shoots on the side off. I'm saving those though, because I would like those to go in something else, or potentially add them again to the side of my bouquet. And so I'm going to put them right here. So now I have my trimmed pennycress. It's still not delicate enough, in my opinion, to be part of the bouquet. So I'm going to cut off another shoot of it, and that's too short to use for anything. Just another one. My goal here is to have it look perfectly delicate and not, even though this is a loose bouquet, I still want it to look neat. So I'm going to trim that off too. And that's too small to use. And then I'm left with this little tiny thing from that huge bush. I'm going to put it right here. And it is so delicate. And it adds that touch of texture and delicacy that you're going to want in your bouquet. And then I'm going to take another sprout of pennycress and do the same thing. And I'm going to trim it up and use it. And I'm going to put it in again, a very delicate sprout of pennycress in the back. And there is no real back or front to this bouquet, but when you evaluate it and look at it, as you look and you turn and you look and you turn and it starts to come together as a bouquet, you're gonna find a side you want, front or back. As you can see, the stems are crisscrossing. So I'm gonna keep adding, just adding and turning and adding and turning and adding and turning. This is an anemone and this is beautiful, and we put the anemone in to add that contrast to the texture of this bouquet. Anemone, they're an interesting flower. They have a very stiff stem. These are really high quality anemone and the stem is stiff. Sometimes you can put a wire in the middle and make it stand up straight. I'm not gonna do that with this because I'll break it. So I'm just gonna put it where it's gonna fit, because it has a personality of its own, because it grew in the direction of the sun. I like it, so I'm gonna hold it. Do I like it there? Do I like it there? I like it right here. I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna move my thumb and I'm gonna put it here. So it's taking shape. You can see it there. My bouquet is taking a shape. There's no such thing as an exact replica either. It's all about what you like and your interpretation of the shape that comes together. Again, I'm crisscrossing my stems. So now it's time to add some more. I think what I wanna do here is add another white rose, but I'm gonna put it down here because I want to have a little bit of height, a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture. So as you can see, they're not all going to be the same length because we want that free flow effect. I'm going to keep adding. I'm going to look and I'm going to turn and I'm going to say what else belongs here. What looks good to me? What looks good to my eye? I think I need some more pennycress in the back. So I'm going to put some more pennycress in the back. Wherever you see a hole, wherever you see a place where you're just not quite sure it looks quite right, you might want to put something else. Just go ahead and add it and see how it looks. I'm going to make sure the stems are all in the right direction, they're all bent properly, and it's starting to look really pretty. The other thing is when you hold these bouquets, don't touch the rose petals themselves because they will bruise. They'll end up having little creases in them, that little brown crease. So you don't want to ever touch the petals. You want to make sure that they stay intact. So I'm going to add another anemone. The anemone is a beautiful flower, and they came in not quite open, which means that tomorrow morning they're going to be beautiful and they are going to be open. They are so pretty, and they add that touch of delicacy that we want in our bouquets. So I'm going to turn and look, turn and look, turn and look, and it's really pretty. What else do I want to do? How am I going to hold this? I'm thinking I'm just going to hold it in this direction, but I'm not done yet, so I'm not sure. So I'm thinking now what I want to do is bring this up just a hint, and put another salmon colored rose down here, just like that, and then add onto that. So the thing about these bouquets is if you don't like something, you're holding it loosely and you can move it. So I'm going to look and I'm going to turn and I'm going to keep my crisscross. Do I like it? Yeah, but it doesn't have a shape yet that I think is looking bridal or freeform. It just kind of has some flowers in it. I think I need some more spray roses, and so I'm going to take some more spray roses and I'm going to put the beautiful spray roses into another corner, keeping my crisscross, keeping things intact, keeping things going. If I put it here, it's looking round. If I put it here, it's looking round. But if I put it here, it's looking a little bit more of like an asymmetrical design. Better yet, I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna raise them up just a little. Or do I want to raise them or lower? See how I'm doing this? I'm like, I don't even know either. I'm looking to see what's gonna look the best as I turn. So I'm gonna turn and look, and now it's looking a little bit like a rectangle. I don't want a rectangle. So I'm gonna keep adding because I have flowers to add. What else can I add? I think I'm gonna add another anemone in here, just like this. And then I'm going to turn and look. I need something on this side now. And I think I just need a hint more pennycress. Right here. Just a little bit more pennycress to soften it up. And then some more spray roses. I'm going to take some more spray roses and I'm going to put them on in the corner. Let's see. And I'm going to try to make it look flowy and not symmetrical. How do they look here? I'm going to put them on the other side. Okay. And again, I'm loosening it up, trying to make it look a little bit, there we go, just like that. Adding them right there. So now it's starting to look a little bit more like an asymmetrical bouquet. I am moving around the stems, high, low, and I'm gonna add a couple more flowers doing that. I'm turning and I'm looking and I'm evaluating. Turn, look, see, take a look and decide. You don't have to keep it. You can always change out what you put and where you put it. I'm gonna add another anemone up here, and I'm gonna make it a little higher because just for that hint of texture. And then I'm gonna put another anemone on the other side for that same beautiful texture, but I'm gonna put it right here and a little higher. So now we have it, it's kind of really moving around and pretty. And I'm gonna take a look and see, do I like where everything is? Do I want less pennycress? I can pull that out. Do I want more pennycress? I can add that. Not sure yet. I think I like the way it is now. I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna move my hands a little bit and loosen it up again. Move them around a little more, and make sure that we've got that. Make sure that every flower is standing out and the texture is happening. And then we're gonna add again, because we have enough flowers to do it. Like that, just like that. And it's looking good. And then we're gonna add again. You just keep adding and building wherever you want, wherever you think something's gonna look good. These are very robust flowers, and they're not going to get hurt unless you really, really, you're out in the 9,000 degree heat. Okay, and so I just added a final spray rose. Right now, this looks like a nice, tight, asymmetrical bouquet. I'm looking at it now and loving it. It's perfect to me. It's exactly the shape and the form and the texture that I wanted when I looked at it. The flowers are not symmetrical, and they're all grouped together in a way where you can see them. Each one is showcased, and the stems are crisscrossing. All of these long, beautiful stems are crisscrossing. So I'm almost done. I think this is really pretty. I have some more greens. I'm wondering, should I add more greens? I have some more anemone. Should I put in one more anemone somewhere and make it taller? What should I do? But when I hold up more flowers, it's too much to me, so I'm just gonna use these for another vase. So I'm gonna put that back, and I'm gonna keep these flowers here, and I'm going to, because again, my goal was a medium-sized bouquet, and this is a medium-sized bouquet. It's got a lot going on, and once you loosen it up and hold it, and put that ribbon on, it's gonna be beautiful. And add the additional greens. So then we have a green called Smilax. This is called Smilax. Smilax comes in a long vine. I'm gonna put that here and there and everywhere, just to sprinkle it, because you wanna add hints and sprinkles of greens. So again, it's about turning and looking and saying, you know, how does it feel? How does it look to me? Is the shape right? Are the flowers next to each other the way I want them to be? What do I think? And I think it's beautiful. So that all the greens are in. The final step is there's some more greens in there that are very pretty and very delicate to add to the outside of the flower. And those greens look like this, and they're super delicate, and they look so pretty on the outside. Just like you want to put them where you might need a little bit more texture. And even in this bouquet, when I'm adding the Smilax can go down in a bouquet or up in a bouquet, but even when I'm adding the Smilax, I feel like I don't need much more. When you're putting something together, you can look at it and say, like a flower bouquet, and say, enough, it's enough. And this one is perfect. And then you're gonna just add a little more hint of a little tiny more green, and it's perfect. So you're done. So now you're going to look, you've been holding it loosely, take a look, turn it around, and make the flowers are different heights, different sizes, different shapes. That's what we do. And then you're gonna trim all of the stems to fit, to match. What I do is I hold them all in my hand like this and decide the length. So I hold them down where I want to cut them, and it's about where my hand is. And so I'm gonna cut them right around here. I'm gonna take my scissors, my shears, and I'm just gonna cut them. There's something called a floral cutter that professional florists use that will take all the stems and trim them all at once together. But most people doing their bouquets don't own one of those, and I'm showing you how to do it the way someone who doesn't own a cutter would cut. You're just gonna trim all your stems up individually like that, like this. And you're gonna make your bouquet like that, stand like that. The next thing you wanna do is take your rubber band, or you can use floral wire. There's something called vine wire you can use. Anything that's gonna bind the flowers together. I like elastic bands because it keeps the loose and the flowing bouquets loose and flowing. And you're gonna take that rubber band and you're gonna put them around the flowers like this. And then you'll be done. And there you have it. And then you add your ribbon, you add what you would like to the bottom. And there you have it. You have your bouquet and you're ready to walk down the aisle. This is the Pink Chateau bouquet. If you see anything sticking up too high or anything you want to pull up, these are sticking up a little bit. I'm going to pull them down a little, just like that, through the bottom, just a little. And there you have your Pink Chateau bouquet. It's gorgeous. So you're going to take those and you are going to put them, overnight. You're going to put them in a vase, and you can put them in your refrigerator or anywhere that you wish to put them. And that is your bouquet. The next thing you want to do is make a boutonniere. And the boutonniere can just be one of the white roses, it can be one of the pink roses, it can be the spray roses. I'm going to do the boutonniere with one of the white roses. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your stem. I'm going to do it with a white rose, and I'm going to do it with one of the anemones, because we don't want a boutonniere to be too big. It's going to be sitting on someone's coat pocket, lapel of a coat. It's an accent. It's a little bit of a finishing touch. So these are not difficult to make at all. You're going to take that and you're going to see these petals, these guard petals. You're going to remove the guard petals because they're going to stick out if you don't remove them. Just so you're going to have a nice, simple rose as a base. Keep all the rose petals that you lose or remove and put them in a plastic container for your flower girl. About 1 to 2 inches, probably about 2 inches actually, 2 to 2.5 inches underneath the rose, you snip. And then you take the greens that were used in the bridal bouquet and put them behind the flower and hold them in your hand like this. Just like that. Add some more. Just like this. The pennycress isn't as dainty in the boutonniere, and that's because it's an accent. It's a bigger accent. It's a bigger part of the floral you're using than it was in the bouquet. It's more of an accent. I'm going to take that and I'm going to do that. And so here we have right here, right next to the boutonniere, we have some pennycress. We want to make sure we can see it, so I'm going to push it up just a little bit behind, just like that, behind the rose. Trim it up. And then I'm going to add the accent of the anemone. Now when you're adding the anemone, there's a lot of green, and I can put it there, but this bouquet is not all about being green, the bride's bouquet, and so I don't think that I personally feel that you want to match the bride's bouquet as much as you can, and so I'm going to take the big leaves off of the anemone, and I'm going to snuggle it against the rose. It can be hard because of the angles they're at, but I'm going to put it right there, and just like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the green that I used on the outside of the rose, which would be, which would be right here. I'm just gonna take a little bit off and put that in the back. That one's not very, okay, here we go. I'm gonna just add a little to the back like this. Okay, so you have like greenery and the pretty flowers and you have your touch of pink, just so that the boutonniere matches the bridal outfit, bridal bouquet. So you're gonna take all of these together and just make sure that everything's kind of lining up. This anemone's giving me a hard time because of the way it wants to bend, but I'm gonna make it work. So I'm gonna snuggle it right here with the rose, just like that. I'm gonna wrap it right next to the rose, and then I'm gonna put my little greens in, my other greens in the back. Whoops, so wait a minute, do it like that. So you see, I'm gonna snuggle it in with the rose like that. And I'm actually gonna leave out the other greens because it's too hard to put them with the anemone. Then you take your floral tape and attach it and wrap very tight. Floral tape stretches, wrap tight. Make sure that, okay, you wrap tightly around the rose, like this. So the boutonnieres go fast once you understand just how to wrap them. And just hold it and wrap, turn and wrap, turn and wrap, turn and wrap. Turn and wrap, turn and wrap. And then you're going to there's a little bit of green at the bottom. I'm just gonna cut it off. Turn it and wrap it, and turn it and wrap it. Turn it and wrap it. Some stems are not strong like roses, and what you're gonna wanna do is add floral wire. But this particular rose, it is basically hold its own. The stem holds its own. If the bride is using a special ribbon color, you might want to wrap that same ribbon color around the greenery here, the green tape of the boutonniere. Otherwise, all you need to do is pin the boutonniere to the groom's tux or suit jacket, and you're all set. And that is it. That is how you create the chateau bouquet. It's all about making sure the flowers are properly conditioned, and then holding them loosely and crisscrossing them, and just remember to turn and look, turn and look, turn and look. You will get the perfect bouquet. Thank you.